Need for conservation. Considering Asia hosts a sample of all genus of wildlife and a microcosm of all samples of natural vegetation, its conservation value is ever more succinct. Perhaps it is the complex challenges to human development that arises from the tough terrain and ecosystems endemic to Asia that the pressure of development presents the greatest challenge to conservation. The terrain has presented such complex problems that poverty is the bane of almost all the Asian countries. Asians thus consider fruits of development so fundamental a right that they are willing to compromise on the conservation and energy quotients. It is now not only a concern for climate change, but a challenge to the development and sustenance of future generations. Without sustainable development, the very survival of the planet's enormous bio and zoodiversity are at stake. The future of human beings will be most affected indeed. Cropping pattern and staple diets will change, viruses and vectors will jump species, and new kinds of pandemics will plague the planet. Seasons will be affected in the tropics because of melting polar ice caps. There will be harsher summers, winters, and rainy seasons, more natural disasters emanating from extreme weather conditions. This bleak scenario obtains from anthropogenic factors unlike the previous cycles of climate change. Anthropogenic conflict today manifests in myriad ways: habitat loss, man-animal conflict, groundwater depletion, atmospheric pollution, water pollution, decimation of forests, wildlife crime, climate change, ozone layer depletion are only some of the environmental challenges of our world today. All these threats to the environment propose a bleak future not just for humanity but also for the other living creatures on planet Earth. Many species face extinction not just because of wildlife crime, but inbreeding, loss of habitat, and climate change. Inbreeding occurs due to loss of habitat. Certain species are flagship species amongst both botanical and zoological diversity. Thus, the conservation of the flagship species ensures the conservation of the entire spectrum of endangered species under its captaincy. For example, in trying to conserve the tiger, a whole faunal spectrum or prey base of the tigers is conserved. By doing so, we ensure that the habitat of the tiger and its prey base are also conserved. This, in end effect, protects the water resources and catchment area for the Indian monsoons. Thus, we see the exaggerated importance given to the conservation of tiger. Similarly, there is an effort to save the pyramid species of all genera. Conservation of shark-infested waters in the sea ensures that its entire prey base and their habitat are also conserved. Same goes for reptiles.